Hello everyone, welcome to Lesson 2 of Intermediate Robotics, turning 2D sketches into 3D extrusions. For our schedule, from 4:15 through 5, we will have Icebreakers and Intermediate Robotics Part 1. From 5 to 5:10, we will have Break. And from 5:10 to 5:45, we will have Intermediate Robotics Part 2. For the overview, we're going to be going over how to extrude drawings and organization in general in Onshape. So to begin with extruding drawings, what is an extrusion? An extrusion in software like Onshape is a 3D modeling tool that changes a 2D sketch into a 3D shape by pulling the sketch along a straight path to add or remove material in the third dimension. This can be done with any shape drawn on a sketch. A sketch is like the paper you use to draw your drawings. The drawing would be the 2D shape that you extrude for the 3D model. There are different types of extrusions. First, the new extrusion. The extrusion ignores all existing parts and does not fuse with anything, and it creates a completely separate body that is listed as a new item in the parts list. The remove extrusion deletes all objects it comes into contact with, allowing different parts to be removed to create new shapes. The add extrusion merges your extrusion to the existing part to combine or weld them together. Use this to keep adding new features to an existing part, like TTA, hinge parts, and handling the design. Then finally we have the intersect extrusion. This extrusion allows you to compare your extrusion to a different part and delete everything except where those two parts themselves overlap. Moving on to how to extrude. To begin, for the first step, we will go to the Create button at the very top left of our Onshape document. Next, we will select the face where you want to create your drawing. Make sure to go to Onshape and follow these steps as you go. After that, we will need to create a sketch to make our drawing on that face. Then we create the sketch using the tools above and prepare to extrude. After that, we will choose the type of extrusion and confirm it to place it and make this a full part. And then finally, you will have your new shape. So why do we extrude? We extrude in order to convert drawings or 2D objects into 3D physical objects, which we can manipulate and categorize into different categories or assemblies as parts. Parts in CAD. So what is a part in CAD? A part in CAD is a continuous and solid piece of 3D geometry that is the building block of all designs in Onshape. This is a part that we created earlier on in how to extrude slides. As you can see, our cylinder is labeled as part 1 in a list called parts. We can rename different parts and change different things about them separately. Here are the things you can do to parts. As mentioned before, you can rename them, change their properties, align materials, and of course, edit their appearance. Organizing and managing parts is exactly how robotics is used and how robots are designed using CAD. You'll have to click the rename button to rename your part. So first, let's go to the rename tab and click on it for our part. And then once we click the rename button, we can rename the part to test part. So make sure to go to Onshape and follow these steps. If you have any questions, this was a very complicated topic and there was a lot of information. Feel free to ask any questions. And finally, organization. So how do we organize? We are able to organize files inside of an Onshape document or project by right-clicking and grouping different objects and putting them in folders or other places. So try it out and go to Onshape. So we will start by selecting both the sketch and the extrusion that we made for our cylinder shape. Make sure to hold down Shift while clicking on each object to highlight both of them. And once the items are highlighted, right-click and then click Add Selection to Folder to organize these objects, such as the sketch and extrude, into one singular folder that we can call Test Part as well. Once the button is clicked, rename the folder to Test Part and then we can confirm. So here now we can see that both of our objects are part of the test part folder and have now been organized under one folder in the CAD design. So how else can we organize parts? Not only can you organize the sections that make up a part, you can also categorize the parts in different sections, known as part studios, inside of Onshape. You can create new part studios with the plus on the side and create each part in the separate part studios so that they can all be combined or taken away in the assembly tab. So how else can we organize? Let's go back. So this is the button you use to create a new part studio for your new part if you want to combine them into an assembly. You can view all of the unhidden parts studios together in the assembly. So by clicking the Insert button in your Assembly tab, you can choose which parts you want to include in the assembly, and then you can select all the parts you want to insert here. For example, I have parts of the original cylinder and another part as an example. Both of the parts will appear in your assembly if they are selected, and they are shown in the assembly view as seen in the image. So make sure to visit our office hours Tuesdays and Sundays at 4:15 through 5:15 p.m. if you have any questions, and the link is below. Thank you so much for listening.